In the heart of the dense forest, where the moon barely pierced through the thick canopy of trees, a young girl named Mia found herself separated from her friends. They had ventured into the woods for a thrilling night of camping, but now Mia was alone, engulfed by the suffocating darkness. Her heart pounded in her chest as she called out for her friends, her voice swallowed by the ominous silence of the night. Tears welled up in her eyes as fear tightened its grip around her, squeezing the breath from her lungs. With trembling hands, Mia fumbled for her phone, hoping to find some comfort in its familiar glow. But as she turned it on, she realized with horror that there was no signal, no lifeline to the outside world. She was truly alone, at the mercy of whatever lurked in the shadows. As she stumbled through the undergrowth, each rustle of leaves and snap of twigs sent her heart racing. Shadows danced around her, morphing into sinister shapes that seemed to reach out for her, eager to drag her into the abyss. But it was not just the darkness that haunted Mia. It was the feeling of being watched, of being hunted by something malevolent and unseen. Every step she took seemed to echo like a death knell, drawing her deeper into the heart of the forest's darkness. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream tore through the night, sending shivers down Mia's spine. It was the voice of one of her friends, a cry of terror that pierced through the silence like a knife. Without hesitation, Mia raced towards the sound, desperate to find her friends and escape this nightmare. But as she drew closer, the forest seemed to conspire against her, twisting and turning in on itself, leading her further astray. Panic surged through her veins as she realized she was lost, hopelessly lost in a maze of trees with no way out. And then, just as despair threatened to consume her, Mia saw it. A pair of glowing eyes peering out from the darkness, their gaze filled with hunger and malice. Frozen in terror, Mia watched as the creature emerged from the shadows, its twisted form silhouetted against the moonlight. It was a creature straight from her worst nightmares. A monstrous being with gnarled limbs and jagged teeth, its eyes gleaming with a primal hunger. With a guttural growl, it lunged towards Mia, its claws outstretched, ready to claim its helpless prey. With a scream of terror, Mia turned and ran, her heart pounding in her chest as she fled through the haunted forest. But no matter how fast she ran, the creature was always just behind her, its monstrous roar echoing through the night. And as the darkness closed in around her, Mia knew that she was doomed, trapped in a nightmare from which she would never awaken, lost forever in the depths of the haunted woods. In the heart of the sprawling forest, where the trees stood like silent sentinels and the moon cast its pale glow upon the earth, a young boy named Nathan found himself lost amidst the shadows. The woods had always been a place of wonder and adventure for him. But as night fell and the familiar paths became shrouded in darkness, his sense of excitement gave way to unease. Nathan's heart raced as he stumbled through the underbrush, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet of leaves beneath his feet. The trees loomed overhead, their branches twisting and reaching like skeletal fingers, grasping at the night sky. The air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay, and the only sound was the soft rustling of leaves in the breeze. With each passing moment, Nathan's fear grew, a gnawing pit of dread in the pit of his stomach. He tried to reassure himself that he would find his way home soon, but the forest seemed to stretch on endlessly in every direction, a maze of darkness and uncertainty. As the night deepened, Nathan's senses seemed to sharpen, every rustle of leaves and snap of twigs sending a shiver down his spine. He quickened his pace, desperate to escape the suffocating grip of the forest, but no matter which direction he turned, the trees seemed to close in around him, their branches forming an impenetrable wall of darkness. Then, just as Nathan's panic threatened to consume him, he saw it, a flicker of movement in the shadows ahead. His breath caught in his throat as he strained to see through the gloom, his heart pounding in his chest. Out of the darkness emerged a figure, its form ethereal and indistinct, its face hidden beneath a veil of mist. Nathan's blood ran cold as he watched the ghostly apparition drift closer, its eyes fixed on him with an intensity that sent a chill down his spine. Unable to tear his gaze away, Nathan stumbled backward, his mind reeling with terror. But as he turned to flee, he found himself surrounded by more figures, their ghostly forms shimmering in the moonlight like phantoms from a nightmare. Fear clawed at Nathan's chest as he realized he was trapped, the ghosts closing in on him from all sides. He tried to scream, but his voice caught in his throat, drowned out by the haunting cries of the spirits that surrounded him. Desperate for escape, Nathan turned and ran, his feet pounding against the forest floor as he plunged deeper into the night. But no matter how fast he ran, the ghosts pursued him, their eerie wails echoing through the darkness. The trees blurred past him as Nathan ran, his breath coming in ragged gasps. But no matter how far he ran, the forest seemed to stretch on endlessly, its twisted paths leading him further into the heart of darkness. Hours seemed to pass as Nathan stumbled blindly through the woods, his lungs burning with exertion. And just when he thought he could run no longer, he stumbled into a clearing, the moon casting an airy glow over the scene before him. In the center of the clearing stood an ancient oak tree, its branches reaching toward the sky like gnarled fingers. And gathered around its base were the ghosts, their spectral forms flickering in the moonlight as they chanted in a language Nathan could not understand. Terror gripped Nathan's heart as he realized he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could have imagined. But before he could turn and flee, the ground beneath him began to tremble, and with a deafening roar, the earth split open, revealing a gaping chasm of darkness below. Frozen in horror, Nathan watched as the ghosts descended into the abyss, their haunting cries echoing off the walls of the pit. And then, in an instant, they were gone, leaving Nathan alone in the clearing once more. Shaken to his core, Nathan scrambled to his feet and ran, his mind racing with fear and confusion. He knew he had to find his way out of the forest before it was too late, before the darkness consumed him like it had the ghosts. But as he fled through the trees, the forest seemed to close in around him, its twisted branches reaching out to ensnare him in their grasp. And somewhere in the distance, he could hear the faint echo of the ghosts' cries, a chilling reminder of the horrors that lurked within the shadows. For Nathan, the night would be endless, his fear a constant companion as he fought to escape the darkness of the forest. And though he would eventually find his way back to civilization, the memory of that fateful night would haunt him for the rest of his days, a reminder of the dangers that lurked beyond the safety of the world he knew.